But yeah, so
sorry to take off topic.
But we actually need to move on to the next section. So for the general advice section, is going to university a necessity to have a successful career in this modern day?
I spoke about this the other day in one of my networking events.
Cool.
So no, go ahead. Sorry.
Go on.
No, we spoke about it the other day. We were talking about, is education going to be here in 10 years? Who is this model really for? I think we spoke about actually in our event briefly, but we went more in depth the other month. And it's like, the loan system was to keep the working class in debt because you couldn't afford to go to uni. So when my auntie went uni, only rich people went to university. Because no working class people, and then they brought the loan system in where you can, just get money from the government to study. But that road of, you got a degree, you got a job, it's failed. It does not apply anymore.
I don't think
in any industry because of the influx of people going. There's too many people going to uni. Too many people applying for jobs, and the ratio is really slim. So most people that will try and get jobs, they'll get knocked back so much they'll just end up just getting a normal 9 to 5 after 3 years of studying or majoring in something. They end up just getting.
I think another thing that
system doesn't work.
I think where universities fail people so much is that they don't actually. Obviously, I come from a marketing and branding perspective, so what they don't do is they don't teach people how to build someone's personal brand. There's nobody that's personally branded. Like when they give out CVs, they're all the same fucking generic CVs. There was a study actually. HubSpot was saying how 58% of CVs that come on people's desks doesn't actually differentiate them from someone else. Like there's nothing there that someone can look at and say, hey, look, you're a better fit to my company than this person. It's all generic crap. Like even with the cover letters where you're meant to basically say, hey, look, employ me because I'm this kind of person. I do this kind of thing. I hang out in these areas. It's meant to be more personal. People don't want to know that you just there's hundreds of people that have a university degree. Hundreds, thousands.
Absolutely.
What makes you different?
Yeah.
But ultimately, the university just trains you to get a job. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. You get a degree and you work hard to get a job. You don't work hard to start. Even if you do business studies, you don't really work. You know business, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So how good was that course? Was it something that you could apply today? Was it like, did you learn basic fundamentals or anything that you could apply? How was the course structured?
Well, I mean, okay, so with my experience in university, there's two sides to it, right? There's the positive aspects I got from uni, and then there's also the negative aspects, right? I'll start with the positive. Going to uni, right, it taught me how to work on a deadline, So, for example, having to cram out a 2,000 word project, maybe a night before the deadline, with no sleep, having to revise for exams. Having to like constantly learn and acquire knowledge. I feel like going to uni did do me a favor in that aspect, because now with my entrepreneurship, I feel like I'm transferring those skills from my university days to now. And another good thing about university is the whole experience of living by yourself. Living amongst other like-minded people, and also going to university also gave me good networking opportunities as well. Yeah. Because now there's a lot of people I know from university that some of them also starting up their own business and stuff.
Okay. At Paris.
Paris. And then there's a guy called Mike who also does a podcast. Okay. He was a really good friend of mine from uni. So, and the thing about uni, even though, yes, having a degree is not as valuable as it used to be, you're still better off having a degree than not having one. Like, it makes your CV look better on paper.
I wouldn't say, but yeah, that's different opinions and stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just...
You mentioned the experience.
Wait, I haven't finished yet. So, but then again, there's also the things that uni didn't teach me, right? That I wish that I could have learned, right? Now, the thing about university is they don't teach you real life skills, You know, so they don't teach you money management. They don't teach you how to invest. They don't teach you how to develop yourself as a person, right?
Yeah, but shouldn't that be down to the parents?
Not really, because they're uneducated themselves. They haven't been taught it. So I could teach
Yeah,
someone.
but if you're paying $9,000 a year to go to university, you want to learn at least some sort of life skills that you can apply to your
there
life.
were like, for me anyway, there were
after
like
uni.
workshops and people that can help you with your finances. Like for instance, I got someone to help me with my budget and help me like to manage my student finance, because statistically there's some people got their student finance and blew it in the first term, and that's in the first 2 months because of just having that much money. Like for me, I never had that much money one time, like $3,000. I was like, wow, $3,000. I didn't have to work for it. Like I just seen it in my account, and you just go crazy in it, you know. So I think that aspect of it is bad as well. You're giving people that much money that young with no money skills. That's terrible. And you can go to the bank and just get like an overdraft with no interest fee. That straight away is like suicidal debt, you know. No interest fee.
But I think you learn best through. I think people go to university and they just expect everything, because it's like the school system. They just expect everything on their plate, just handed to them. Whereas, you know, you got to learn through life experience.
Absolutely.
You know, people just expect so much from university. Like I had a job, and there was a guy. He had like 93 or 80 something different people go for this job. I don't even go for the job. Had the job, and he was just sacking people because he was getting these people with like big major degrees and everything else like this, and it was just shit. Like they just didn't know how to do an Excel spreadsheet, or you know, they just didn't know the basic stuff of what they were learning at university and how to apply it to what they're doing now. Like nobody understands how to apply what they've learned to what they're doing in their current situation. You know, they don't know how to transfer that skill, what they learned at uni, to now. You know, and then they think that because they went to uni, they expect that uni taught them everything. When in industry, what you learn in uni is completely different to what happens in industry. You know,
and here's another issue with uni as well. Sometimes I feel like the professors that lecture you, right? They're not like, your education isn't always in their best interest. Like they're probably only thinking about, you know, their salary and their research or something. Like them giving you the best education isn't always their priority.
It's a business.
Yeah, but I think
uni is a business, man.
But coming to that, I mean, I think
of governments and that. So.
Yeah. But I think coming back to like teachers not having passion for teaching is down to the recruitment process. If you want to be having people lectured, you do need someone that has had industry experience, which is why they then become professors. But they become professors and they sort of drop out and say, hey, look, this is easier, you know, and then they just take the easy route, but they don't enjoy the easy route because they prefer industry-based stuff where they're researching stuff. So then you're having someone that's hating their job, that then it also reflects, because they hate their job, they then become a shitty teacher. And you see that a lot in secondary schools and primary schools, where they hate their jobs, but they don't want to leave it because they've got this mortgage and all these other bills to pay. So they can't just quit their job, you know, or they're in a year's contract with them and things, you know. And it's a bit shit really, because obviously you're paying $9,000 to get this teacher that doesn't care about fucking teaching you. He's just like, fuck you, I'm here to get the money because I hate teaching you guys. I want to go back to my research. So fuck you guys, you know. But that's down to recruitment. That's down to recruitment. Yeah. Again, you know, that's not directly. That's the university's fault, not particularly the.
But even still, I mean, because you can't even really blame the university too much either, because people maybe
they need to tell the university HR that they don't like their job anymore. And then HR needs to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to find a replacement.
Because maybe initially they might have a passion for sharing their knowledge and whatnot, but obviously people's passions change over time. You know, eventually people get fed up.
Or they find out, they go in it and they go, oh, this isn't really for me, and it's 3 months in. And now they're stuck with it.
Now they have to stick with it. I think for me, university on a positive note was more for me. Social, like you were saying. So that was the first time in my life that I witnessed class. You know, when you go to a public school, everyone's kind of on the same level in terms of income and, you know, background and ethnicity as well. I remember for me, my uni was like 90% white. That might not mean nothing to you lot, but and that was the first time I saw.
Which uni did you go to?
I went to the Central School of Speech and Drama in Swiss Cottage, like a drama school. So obviously, drama school. So me coming from like, you know, where I come from, this is matter. But and then seeing people that went to grammar school, I don't know anybody that went to grammar school, and people that, you know, like at different levels of education, and like the first time I saw someone that was out of London was when I went to uni. And vice versa. A lot of people, the only time they left London is when they went to university. So all my friends from London went uni, like Birmingham, Manchester. That was the first time I knew people that were from Manchester and Birmingham, and the fact that there was loads of these different places in the UK that I didn't even know existed with these different accents. I just thought it was just the major cities, and that was like really good for me because I just knew like black people and like ghetto slang. I didn't really know about all that. Never had to experience someone from like Yorkshire or where's the other place I've never like what's that place called in Essex, man? Bloody hell, what's it called now? I can't remember anyway, but like all these places that I never knew existed just through the social aspect of just, you know, having a common interest and then being around these people, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
We used to have debates. One good thing about uni, it was like an open debate about you know, race and like, you know, interracial relationships and why it's a problem, and it used to make you think about stuff. It wasn't just like, you know, you go to college to do a subject. It was more of like a social experiment. You learn and grow. I learn and grow through university. But the education is all about education, really. The education that you're learning in universities compared to like Oxford and Cambridge is completely different. So if you're studying at London Metropolitan or this,
of course.
it's just different levels, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, so when you go to uni, I think it's like level 3, 4 and 5. But when you go to Oxford and uni, I know because one of my cleaning clients, she went to Oxford, man, and the level of her vocabulary, what she knows, she could tell you about World War II like back to front. I can't tell you nothing about World War II like that anyway. I don't really care, like it, you know. So they learn they learn more advanced education from an early age. They can tell you about Anglo-Saxons and all this stuff that I don't really care about.
But mind you, you do have to already be highly intelligent to even have a chance of getting.
That's another thing as well. Like I think that university, they just let anyone through the door, innit? It's not like you've got to be highly educated or get top mark or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like whoever can pay the fee in this business model, then you can just pay the fee and come to university. But you had to, like, they had a thing where you had to be on a certain level of intelligence to even get to Oxford or Cambridge. And that's just the top 2.
There you go.
But that's the same with Eton. It's the same thing. Eton school was that. You go there and you learn. All of the politicians now, they all went to Eton. That's like I think it's like an all boys school, but they teach you like different stuff that you can learn. And Prince William and all of these, they don't go to normal schools. Even private schools teach different education. Because imagine you're paying like a uni fee for your child to go to a private school, but they learn completely.
What was when you went to private school in Ghana? What was that?
Private school. Oh wow.
But obviously, the private schools in Ghana, but private schools in Ghana don't really compare to private schools here. But it was still one of the.
You wouldn't even have a school. You just be teaching outside.
In some areas,
That's what I see on TV. That's what I see on TV.
It's true. It's true.
On TV,
that is a thing.
Which is fair enough because it's a hot country, so maybe it's for another reason.
But yeah, I mean, my private school experience in Ghana was, I enjoyed it. They did teach me pretty well, and yeah, I mean that's all I can say.
That's why I like.
What was the food like?
Yeah, food was good.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that's the main point.
School dinners and shit. Like, school dinners are like really bad.
I mean, what kind of things did you used to get in Ghana? Like school dinner wise, like did you used to eat like snake?
Wow.
No, man.
Imagine that.
That'd be amazing. Like just have an anaconda like stretched out on the table and you just dig it in, you know, Harry Potter style, you know.
I mean, but mostly it was just stuff like jollof rice, rice and beans, plantain and beans.
I don't even know what any of this is.
Yeah,
plantain and beans.
Do you know what gari is? Like a powder. Like it's like maize that's been grounded into some powder form. Like
like a flour.
Sort of like a flour, but it's a bit more heavier.
Yeah.
Than
it's like a
flour.
There's a ground rice. It's like in the ball. Is it white?
Okay, no, you're talking about rice balls where you boil rice and you kind of shape it to but gari is similar. Like you can either make gari like that as a ball, or you can eat it as a porridge. If you like add milk and sugar and whatnot.
So it's breakfast.
Yeah, you can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That was the beautiful thing about Gary. It's very versatile in terms of how you can eat it. Yeah, so
even dessert, because obviously it's sweet as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
eat it all day, every day. It's part of every meal. That's funny.
But my private school experience in Ghana, I can tell if I had gone to a public school in Ghana, I'll say, academic wise, I probably wouldn't be as intuitive as I am now.
I think that going back to education, I don't really talk about our business affairs, but that's what me and Hayden are trying to do. Setting up free schools to teach people entrepreneurship and life skills.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game when we're setting up our free school, and we're trying to really set kids up by like the age of 16, 18, because of the way the world is and the way edtech is, and we're trying to implement the education system and trying to show kids a different way, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think schools need to start going more specialist, because the issue you get is you get kids like me that absolutely fucking hate English, spending 5 hours a week doing English. And you're not. The issue is in a public school where you're learning English, it's not like you're just learning English, like where you're learning to write letters to, like, if you need to write a complaint or anything like that. You're learning like fucking Shakespeare. Like, who the fuck gives a shit about Shakespeare? I would be better off learning how to write a formal letter or something like that, or how to write copy for a website, or how to write something that's directed to a target audience, because obviously I have a marketing background. So I think people need to take what kids actually want to do as a job role and apply their lessons around that,
Some kids don't know what they want to do though.
Yeah, but that's what you do. You give them a bit of time.
They're just given the basic standards.
I think what schools should do is analyze what a child's strengths and weaknesses are, and base their lessons around that. Because the thing about it, especially in primary schools, right, is a teacher might ask a question or give out a test, right? Now, not everyone is academically astute, but they might have maybe talent in creativity or music or something, or art, right? So now the people who are more artistic but aren't that academically astute might do bad in a test, right? And then some teachers might embarrass them, some teachers might report them to their parents, say, hey, your child isn't learning, whereas that's not their strength.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the massive disconnect's happening, because you're getting these kids that are actually getting in trouble for something they're bad at.
There you go.
And so you're getting a negative with a negative.
There you go.
And how does that make the kid feel?
There you go.
You're getting all these negative compounds compacted into it, and then you wonder why people absolutely hate school. You wonder why people bunk off school. You wonder why people don't do exams well, because you're when they're doing something bad, they get reprimanded for it.
There you go.
It's like when I was growing up, I was like forced to do an hour reading every day.
At school?
No, not at school. At home. Right? This is about foster carers, right? Absolute cunts. Yeah, I loved reading anyway.
I don't know if they wanted to like.
I loved reading. I read anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was their form of control. They were like, you're gonna do an hour reading. Sit there. I'm like, no, man. I already read anyway. I already read in my room. I was reading books anyway. I'd read a Harry Potter book, but then they were like, no, we're gonna force you to read a book at this time. And then obviously that's because obviously I then rebelled, because obviously that's my age.
Yeah.
I rebel. So I was happily reading. Now I don't ever pick up a book. I pick up a book for reference, and that is it.
What do you think of, like, this is just an open question, I want to know what you think of, because I'm just a bit inquisitive. So what do you think about, like, mixed schools? Meaning, like, do you think there's a massive difference if you went to, like, a Muslim school, or if you went to a mixed school, like all boys school?
No, I think it's just creating more of a divide.
Yeah, or if you went to all black school. Because I remember, like, my mum made my little brothers go to an all black school, because she wanted to, like, make them feel like they were like important. Because like if you're the only man, if you're a minority, you just feel a certain way. And you start to like connect with the minorities. You don't want to be open and say, So I think that starts from young. So my mum made them for a couple of years go to a black school where they learn about black history and obviously English and maths, but mainly was about Egyptian history and black history. And so they went to a black school for a couple of years. I don't know if that made a big difference. But there's some people that go to all male schools and they think that's more, better for their education because they're around men. I don't know. Like, but basically my question is, do you think that even matters that as in a social environment that they make it all gender, or if you go to all Muslim school, I know there's all Muslim schools where they pray every morning and all that stuff.
I think it does in a sense because there are studies done on this as well. Like men, like boys develop academically at a lot sort of slower rate than women. So then obviously there's a study done where females are more academic than males.
Oh right, okay.
But then when a teenager gets to a certain age, it's something like switches, and then they end up being like on par with the the girls in the class. But obviously that will hold back. But then if you've got a class like that's mixed, and you've got girls that have already made that switch and gone, hey look, I'm going to be academic, but then you've got the guys that are like, oh no, fuck this, I mean, we're going to chuck pens at each other, or stab this guy in the hand with a protractor, you then end up disrupting the class for the females learning, and then you obviously, the males are doing their self.
I was just interested in who made it a concept. Let's just put all men in one school. I think that's how it used to be years ago,
you would.
In the old times, it was like just all boys' schools and all girls' schools.
Well, I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe they did it to reduce the chance of like child pregnancy and.
Oh, is it?
Stuff. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know.
But I think it's always been as high as it always has. It's just more people hushed it back then.
Okay.
But for me, like when you're growing up in school, that's when you get your first girlfriend, man. That's when you get puberty. That's when you want to get socially. I don't want to get graphic, but that's when you first touch your first bum and your tits, and so. I thought to myself, like, in terms of that aspect, you're making these boys grow up just around men and that. Obviously, statistically, you're not saying that everyone that goes to boys' schools are gay and everyone that goes to girls' schools are lesbian. Yeah. But there is a social aspect to maybe like academically why they made these schools in the first place is why I brought it up. Because they'll do statistics and say, okay, this is GCSEs from this boys' school, this is GCSEs from this girls' schools, and this is why. Just because they're in that environment. You can get distracted. Look, you get a girlfriend and you fuck up your exams. So there's loads of this stuff. So I was just thinking that, is that a big thing? And just to spin off it, sorry to keep going.
Yeah,
but what about going to like I said, all black schools or all Muslim schools?
I think it drives the divide between people.
But it's not for long. It's only for like secondary. Because then once you go to uni or college, then
so. Well, mind you, there are sixth forms still that are very either gender specific or religion specific, I think. Yeah.
But I think having mixed, like maybe females and males need to be separate, because obviously if you're disrupting somebody else's learning, that's not on.
Yeah.
But I think that should be based on a person, because obviously people grow at different rates. There's no personalisation to school. You're put in this class and you are told you're going to learn this because everybody else is learning it. Whether that person's ready to learn X, Y, and Z or not. I think science teachers get it the worst. If you ever have a school science lesson when you have to teach biology to a group of boys.
I remember sex education.
I remember sex education in school.
Shit, man. And then pregnancies and shit. I remember they was explaining how people get boners and we're at that age, we don't even know what a boner is. How could you even explain it? Sex education to kids. They don't even know what a boner is. And when you get a boner, you just think, what the fuck is this shit? Just keeps sticking out. Like, you're just young, you don't know nothing. And, so when they're talking about STIs and STIs at that age, I don't know. I think it's too young. I think the misinformation of sex education makes people be wondrous and just do it and then maybe get pregnant,
and
stuff like that. I don't know.
But guys, moving on to the last section of the podcast.